Support for the Players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation podcast, is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the ultimate men's hygiene bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FTP at au.manscaped.com. If my math is correct, and it might just be, that's about 8 million balls.
For the Players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in the games and media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and you can become a part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are listening on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are on the YouTubes, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts, other assorted shit with our logos on it, or you can help support the brands that help support us, just like Manscaped. We'll have more to say about them a little bit later. Now, Max, something I just realized, I had to do a quick check. This is episode 247. We are 3 weeks away from 250, which is an impressive number of podcasts. We have nothing planned.
I thought we were going to do a clip show, a greatest hits clip show, where we just take another week off and we just play our best of.
The downside is we don't really have a best of. We
have 249 episodes to pick from, and we've got maybe 10 minutes of footage. So be prepared for a short one next month, guys.
It's a good 30 minutes, including ad reel. I highlight all the best times I reference my dick to just make a big long 30-minute ad for Manscaped. That's episode 250. Yeah, that's crazy. I keep thinking about it every time I edit the show. I'm like, I should tell Max that, and then I forget. So, yeah, here we are, 250 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. Well, we got 3 weeks, but this would be 247. So, 2 more episodes, 3 episodes. So, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Probably no one, because no one asked for it. No one asked for it anymore either. So it just exists in perpetuity. How are you, man? How you been?
Yeah, not too bad.
Any news?
Not too bad. Yeah, a little bit's happening for us. So a couple of weeks ago, this is the part where Max tells you that he's been building a house for 2 years. Yeah. We now have pipes in the ground.
Yeah,
it's actually happening. So about 3 weeks ago, we got an email from the builders saying, "Hey, we expect your slab stage to be completed in the next 4 to 6 weeks."
Sweet, 46 weeks.
So we're like, hey, let's go check out the slab. Let's see what they've done. Maybe they've done some form work. Hopefully the plumbing's in. We'll go have a look. We have pipes in the ground. So we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. There's now a fence around our lot. So the builders on all the other sides of our lot will no longer be throwing their shit on our land, which is nice because it used to be just the dump site because we were the only block not doing anything at the time.
Yep.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, and then obviously I went and saw Doctor Strange on Friday. So good.
Well, it's good that you got plumbing. That means you can.
Yeah, plumbing's exciting.
You can kind of do poops there. Well, you can't really. There's no active plumbing, but you could poop in.
I mean, that does. I could still do it.
You could still. Yeah, you could have still pooped when there was no plumbing.
There is definitely a trench there that I could Like, if I was, I mean, there is a portaloo on the block. Like, I could poop there. There is.
Yeah, but
there
if
is
you were really
facilities.
feeling like super invigorated, like this is my house, this is my land, and I poop here because home is where you poop the most comfortable. That is true, and actually, I don't think pooping very comfortably on a random plot of land is probably a smart call.
Put up like a temporary fence around you, like hang a towel or something.
Just get one of those beach tents. Just cut a hole in the
We
bottom.
have one of those. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You can go and do poops. Or, as Puck says in the chat, you can assert your dominance and poop in other people's yards. Like, as everyone threw all their building stuff on yours, just go shit on their house.
And
Look, if we've learned anything from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard ongoing court case, you can just shit on things, and it's okay. It's not okay.
as long as you blame the really small dog.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's this really small dog that lives in our empty lot. Crazy. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad there's some things moving forward with your house. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. It means we may actually be in there by Christmas time.
Yay. Is that the plan, to have Christmas at your place?
Oh no, we don't want anyone over.
Like, no, we're gonna no, but it's kind of the rules. Remember when
We don't want people coming in and breaking that new house smell.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. there is a new house smell, and that does check out. Oh man. So I am now free of the COVIDs.
He says as he coughs his
as I
lungs up.
update. No, this is the thing. So like, for those that may not remember from last week, I did test positive for COVID after taking my son to a Trimbabaline place. He and I got it gnarly. Well, he got it for like 20 minutes, and then he was okay because he's a 5-year-old and he's just full of energy.
He's had it before, hasn't he?
He has had it before, so his body's got that little bit. Yeah.
Semi-immunity.
Yeah, he had like a couple of weeks left until immunity ended, and then he got to COVID. So I'm like, oh, whatever. But yeah, no, it kicked my face in pretty hard. Lots of coughing, lots of sneezing, but the isolation itself was pretty garbo too. Been stuck by yourself for a week. I did feel like I was kind of going insane. Like, just not being able to leave the house. And to make matters worse, at the time, I had no heating. I was just cold and coughing and full of COVID, not being able to see anyone. I was talking to anyone that would talk to me. Like, oh shit, hi, it's social media, how you doing? And that happened, like, once I broke isolation and came out on the Wednesday, it was a garbage day. Like, the Tuesday, fantastic day. I could have done so many things. Wednesday, trash. But no, it was good to be out and about in the community again, which was really interesting. I was like, I can't wait to get out, and then I went out and I'm like, I don't want to be out here anymore. I was like, can I get back inside? But thankfully, it did. The isolation broke at a good time because on Thursday my heaters got replaced in the house I'm living in, so they no longer spew carbon monoxide and try to kill me. Right now, it fills just the room with warmth, which I really like. And it's very interesting, actually. Like, my house, I never really considered it. Like, heating's important, obviously, right? But in order of adding a sense of comfort. Because having the heaters the last couple of days, being able, even just sitting on my couch and watching TV or something, or just existing in my space, I genuinely feel more comfortable. I guess my body's not trying to fight the... I want to say turgidity, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Like the turgid temperatures, that's not the word either. It's just like, it's not having to fight. I can just be warm, and just be comfortable. Because it's right now, winter is balls. It's not even really winter yet, and it's so cold. It's like single-digit degrees overnight, and by God, have I felt those single digits up until now that I have a heater. And like, I have decided that I am going to get into a committed, intimate relationship with my heater. Because I am in absolute love with it. Oh man, like, I just shut the door to the lounge and it just kind of and it just gets toasty in there, and I'm just like, and I just I had a little nap on the yesterday. I was like, just gonna go with the party. Heating is so good. Except the problem is this house has zero insulation, so once that heater goes off, that heat dissipates in like half an hour. It's gone.
Yeah.
I think your house is very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that is one thing that happened this week. We had what is hopefully going to be our last ever rental house inspection. And being a night shift worker, I rang the real estate agency on the Monday, so 2 days prior. Said, hey, I'm a night shift worker. Can I please have an afternoon appointment? I know you say you're going to rock up between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. That doesn't really work for me. Anytime after 12 is great. She's like, oh, yeah, no worries. We got you down for like 1:45. Does that work for you? I'm like, yep, that sounds perfect. I said to Ali, I'm like, yep, they're coming at about 1:45. The only room that needs to be tidied up is our bedroom. When I wake up in the morning, I'll, take the washing basket out, quickly run the vacuum through it. Mint. She's like, yep, no worries. Ali comes in at 11:15 Wednesday morning. They're here. What do you mean they're here? They're like 2.5 hours early. So I quickly run around, get everything together. And then she's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just here to take some photos of the walls to make sure there's not damage everywhere. I'm like, well, if you want to see some damage, follow me. And I showed all the problems showed her all the problems that's been happening. And she's like, have you reported these before? I'm like, yes, I reported them in the last 2 inspections that we've had, but nothing has come from it. She's like, they were remote inspections, weren't they? I'm like, yep. And she's like, yeah, that makes sense. She's like, I will make sure this gets passed on to the correct people.
Oh, man. I know. Welcome to For the Players, the Problems with Rental Properties podcast. Yeah, like I've got a fence that you're like, so where I like in the house that I'm at, there's like a little courtyard and there's a big fence around it. But the fence is old, so it's starting to come loose in its like where the gate is. So I had to like MacGyver a rope and stake just to keep it up. So
yeah, we have one of those in our like front area. They've got like this makeshift fence that they've put up to make like a little mini courtyard in the front yard. And one night we had some gnarly wind and it blew half the fence down. And I took some photos of it, and the owner just like sent an email via the real estate agent. He's like, you can just pull that crap down. That's fine. He's like, don't try and fix it. Just pull it down.
Yeah, but I like my little...
Like, no worries, bro.
See, but I like my little courtyard. It's the quad. It's where, it's a nice little safe place. My son can run around in there without having to worry about running on traffic.
He just now has to worry about the rope tied.
Oh, yeah, now he just has to worry about a fence falling on him instead. So I think it's better. It's all good, though.
Maybe.
But look, we're not here to talk about rental properties, contrary to popular belief. We're talk about games, Max. Now, I have not played shit this week. This is the thing.
You haven't been playing House Flipper like the rest of us?
No. I had played House Flipper. I've already played it like back in the day. It was very good. But this is the thing. I was in COVID isolation, as I said. So really, it was the best time ever to play games. I did not play games for 4 of those 7 days because I just didn't want to. I just couldn't make myself do it. And it's very, like, this is the thing. So I talked about it on 3 weeks ago, how I'm just super depressed and shit. And like, I'm just suddenly don't really have the enjoyment or want to like do anything or play anything or just exist. So like, there's a really bad time to be stuck in a house for 7 days because I'm like, all right. So and then look, eventually I didn't really play anything. I think I talked about this last week though. Like, did I talk about Red Dead last week?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah. So that's it. I played like slightly more Red Dead since last week, because even though I came out of isolation on the Wednesday, we recorded on the Sunday, so there was only like I kind of just dipped my toes back into Red Dead, but like over those couple of days, I just started running it like into the ground, like as much time as I could give it, because like I've now passed that point that I remember playing to the first time that I played it. So I'm like, oh, fantastic. It's all new from here. This is so good. And I've just been like, enjoy it. So it's like, it's all brand new stories now. I like this and that. And I'm like, I'm dealing with the whole Braithwaites and the Greys. So I'm in that area. And that's why I still haven't progressed to the 3rd relocation of the camp. But, it's fun. The game is still brilliant. Like, I've never considered it one of like the games of the generation or one of the best games to play on the PlayStation 4, because I've never finished it. But like, it is unquestionably a really good game. Like, it's long, but I kind of enjoyed the monotony. Like, as I mentioned last week, I've really enjoyed just going and hunting animals for skins. Like, I just kind of fuck off for a while and then just hunt them. You know? It's good. Very, very good. What about you, though? Because you went a little bit hard last week with, like, Weird West and stuff.
Yeah, so I didn't play much Weird West. I dove in. I've jumped back into Horizon.
Oh.
So I've dropped everything down to story mode difficulty. I've collected the first subordinate thing.
Oh yeah,
AI.
The thing from Gaia. Yep.
Yep. The subordinate AI function. I got the first one of that. I fought my first Tremor Tusk. That was rad.
Oh, rad.
Kind of. Because I'm playing on story mode, it was a fairly underwhelming fight. I kind of just stood at its feet and just smacked it with my stick, and it died in like 3 seconds. It was crazy. Like, to be fair, I do have a maxed out warrior tree, so I do like redonkulous damage with that stick. But I like hit it in the ankle 3 times, and it dropped faster than Achilles. Like, it was crazy.
Oh, solid reference to go with it. Well done.
I dove back into my backlog game, Assassin's Creed.
Oh, so it looks so both you and I have been, rather than playing this stack of games that we have yet to final review on over the last like 2 months of crazy, instead we're playing games that we probably should have played years ago. Shout out to both of us.
Yeah. And then I mentioned it quickly last week. Ladder mode has started for Diablo 2, and I've been playing a little bit of that as well.
Yeah. How's that been going for you?
It is rough.
Yeah,
it is rough. The first playthrough is always rough because you've just got no gear, so everything just kicks your face in the whole time. And then once you make it to the end game, it gets better. But I'm almost there. I'm like at the very end, so we'll see how we go. Still got 3 months, so that'll take a back burner once I hit the end. And
yeah, all right.
But other than that, I haven't really been playing too much. I don't know what it is. I think I played maybe like an hour and a half of Horizon. It's just
how are you?
It's still just not doing it for me. Like, it's just this weird. I think I mentioned it last time I spoke about it. It's got that like middle movie syndrome where it kind of it's at the plateau fluff area of the story where it's not giving you all the background information that the first game gives you, because it's got to set up the premise of the game. It's got to give you it kind of info dumps you to a degree to tell you what's going on, and then it's not this big climactic banger of an end because it's not the end. It's what I assume is to be not the end. Obviously, I'm not that far through, but I'm assuming it's very much that. It just feels like the story's plateaued, and I'm kind of just going through the motions. Like, Aloy obviously has this urgency to the quest that she's trying to do, and everyone in this world, no matter what you tell them, you're like, I have to do this, I'm on a time limit, I'm trying to save the world. They're like, but
that's every like role-playing game there is ever.
I get that, but at the same time, every other role-playing game, you don't have this. You're not like showing your urgency to every single NPC that you meet.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not like. Yeah, but she's like all up in your face. She's like, if you do not do this, we could all die. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. I'm just not going to open the door though. You've got like 20 minutes up and back, quick adventure. Let's
man, it's nothing. You got that right.
Like, it's just, it's hard when you've got this like your protagonist going like, this is the most important thing in this world, and everyone else going, yeah, but like, go kill me 10 sheep and bring me their metallic coats.
Oh man, yeah, these deer looking things are fucking me off. Can you fix it?
Like, I get that there has to be like that has to be there, but it's frustrating at the same time because it's not only frustrating to you as the player, but you can feel that frustration to a degree from Aloy. And she's like, guys, I'm trying to fucking save you all.
Yeah,
don't give a shit about your fucking herd of thunder deer that are like outside the. Just go deal with them yourself.
Yeah, just go. They're mildly inconvenieting you. Just go hang out. Just go wreck them. Fuck.
Yeah.
Speaking of Horizon, though, so one thing we talked about a while ago that did finally come out. So prior to the show started, Max and I were talking about Lego and there being this massive new Lego store that opened in Melbourne Central. And so Max and I this week have been touching a little bit of Lego. That sounds way inappropriate. So Max, you got a series of collections of busts, right? And you've got what, Carnage and
I've
Venom.
got the Venom, Carnage, and Iron Man heads. And my wife brought home the Darth Vader head the other day. So we're working on that at the moment.
Very nice. So to keep it PlayStation related, I was eyeing off the Horizon Forbidden West Tallneck since they announced it, because I'm like, I very rarely have I ever bought Lego, but I love the idea of Lego. It's like, you know, reading the instructions, you're just building it, putting it together. It's very zen. It's very similar to why I love painting, like building and painting minis. I have more fun building the minis than I do painting them, because I just like putting them together. It's like Gundam sets. Gundam sets are fucking dope for that exact reason. So the release of the Horizon one dropped like a week ago, and it kind of went under the radar. And then a couple of days after it dropped, everyone was like, "Hey, it's here!" Then it was selling out everywhere. EB Games, they were late to the party, sold out. Like the Lego store, sold out. Any sort of online retailer, sold out. Kmart, they had some available. So I was like, "Oh shit!" Jumped in, bought it, refunded. I'm like, balls. However, I was able to get one. And through Zing, of all places, even though Zing and EB Games share the literal same stock because they're the same company, apparently EB Games had sold out, but Zing had some available. So today, I have been working on this, and first of all, it's bigger. I haven't even done the head yet. That's the last thing I got to do. It's bigger than I realized it was. So today I had been on Discord with my friend Craig. He and I were watching some Breaking Bad together while I was building this, and then I jumped into a different Zoom call, and you know, while we were chatting, I was just sort of tinkering with this so I could maintain my focus as I fuck around with it. But no, it is great. It's awesome. It's been a blast to build. It's so cool and the thing is way bigger than I expected. And like, that's the big thing. It's just way bigger than I expected. But
I honestly still don't get how you didn't think it was going to be that big. Like, when you looked it up online to buy it, it literally gives you the dimensions. Like, it's like the same size as the Tremor Tusk you've got behind you.
Let me have a quick check.
If not bigger.
Yes, well, it's actually as tall as the Tremor Tusk. But like, I have this thing where I'm really shit at understanding dimensions and physical space around me. It's going back to talking about like building a house, like, I couldn't comprehend. Like, I had the plans in front of me, but I couldn't comprehend it until I actually saw it in person. I went, "Oh, that's how big the house is."
There's this really cool place. I think it's up in Melbourne, where they take your floor plans and like project it onto the floor of like a massive warehouse, so you can walk around your floor plans and you can get a feel of or a sense of how big your place is going to be.
I built my house in The Sims. That's what I did.
Oh yeah, cool. You could do that, I guess.
Yeah, like, because I needed it in some sort of 3D space. So I was like, "Oh, I'm going to build it in The Sims." I probably could do it in House Flipper, going back to House Flipper before, but that would have been helpful if that game came out 7 years ago, but it didn't. So, but there you go. So it's not really a game, but I have been enjoying building this Lego, and I feel that this may awaken something in me that is very dangerous.
Lego is a very expensive hobby to get.
It is, but I am enjoying this so much. I've really enjoyed this afternoon putting it together. But I just know very well that this prick's expensive, and it's not going to get any cheaper to be something that you build on. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things. Like, there's only I want specific ones. Like, but I don't want like Star. As much as I love Star Wars, you know, May the 4th was this week. But like, I don't want to. Millennium Falcon. Okay, yeah, cool. I want the Simpsons house.
To be fair, though, the Millennium Falcon's also like $13 million.
Oh yes, but Jesus. But
obviously, I've got the Marvel heads, and it started with just one. Like, I just wanted Venom, and then I'm like, but now I kind of have to get Carnage.
Yeah, you got to have Carnage. Yeah.
So I got Venom and Carnage, and then I'm like, but Iron Man's pretty cool too. So I got Iron Man, and then I was going to stop there, and then the Star Wars ones went on sale for May the 4th. I'm like, maybe I'll get a Darth Vader head. Like, I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, but like, I like it enough. But what I really want is that Hogwarts castle.
Yeah.
But it's like $700 dues.
And that's the thing. Like, I understand a big part of it is just the licensing is why it's so expensive. But like, as much as I've enjoyed my afternoon of putting it together, like, I granted the Hogwarts would take probably a couple of days, really. Like, if you take a couple hours. But like, is it $750 cool? The answer is also, the answer is also yes.
I mean, I'd probably put it up on a shelf, display it, like red.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like this Tallneck will live on display. Like I ain't packing it down. Like I'm gonna put it in my lounge. Like I'm gonna be able to look at it every day. But yeah, if this is the future and PlayStation are gonna continue to release like PlayStation themed sets, then that is dangerous for me. That is opening up an addiction that I am not ready for, but I want to have it. And judging by the success of this Tallneck, I guarantee you there'll be more in the future. So, Max, so before we even actually have proper chats, what do you see? Like, do you see... What other sets do you see coming out, you reckon?
PlayStation related? I don't know. I mean, they'd have to do like... You could probably... I mean, you could follow the suit of the Mario ones they've got. You could make like a big Crash Bandicoot box. Because they've got the Mario question box.
But I'm talking about first parties, right? So I imagine there might be...
Like a God of War set?
Like a God of War set would be cool.
Is there a good set piece that would work in like brick form?
Maybe.
Because...
I potentially like them in the boat with the World Serpent. That would be fucking cool. You know, it's a very iconic shot. Last of Us would be cool. Like it's essentially like a diorama, kind of like the Friends house is.
I'd be okay with like a head from one of the clickers.
Yeah, that would be dope too, right? Like I see it being like little set pieces, like little dioramas. The puck in the chat says the axe itself. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Like a scale not scale, but like a 1 to scale of the axe in Lego would be dope. Yeah, Last of Us would be cool, like a little dank ass looking basement with like clickers and shit, and Joel and Ellie, or like maybe that scene from Last of Us 2 with Joel, like put that in Lego form just to be mean. I don't know, like Days Gone would be cool. It wouldn't sell very well. I would buy it because I still think Days Gone is great. But like Deacon on the bike with a horde of zombies behind him, like coming at you. That'd be dope from a little Lego set.
I want a BB capsule.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, Kojima Productions, Death Stranding, BB, but like babies. That would be cool. That would be amazing, actually. Infamous would be tight. Because it's got a cool little cityscape, and you can have either whether it be Delson or whether it be Cole, probably Cole, preferably like lightning things, and be able to make it look rad. Spider-Man, it already exists. There's tons of Spider-Man Lego, very easy one. What else? What else would be a must in there? Like can't be GT because there's tons of
like an Astrobot set.
Astrobot set would be great. You know why? Because just like Astrobot Rescue Mission, whichever the one that was on PS5, it's just so littered with references and history to PlayStation. That would in fact be the ultimate one for many that they couldn't build complete sets of. If you could just make like a complete little like a diorama of just cool PlayStation references, that would actually make me explode. I might die. That would be amazing. Yeah, I want that. All right, PlayStation Australia, I know you're not listening, or PlayStation Worldwide, I know you're not listening, but if you were, I'm just thinking about it. It'd be pretty cool. Puck in the chest is the consoles, because you can buy that the NES. That'd be pretty sweet. Maybe down the line, that would also be something very, very cool. But before we get into this week's news, Max, there is a section where what do they always say in pods? You need to hear a word from our sponsors. For a little while, a sponsor of the show has been Manscaped, and it is autumn, Max, and everyone knows what that means. Stuff falls off trunks, that is trees and your penis. Do you want your trunk to be as bare as the trees outside? Then you need to look no further than Manscaped. They are the leaders in male body grooming, and the 4th generation performance package is out now. It is time to bundle up with the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Inside this package, you will find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker, that's the nose trimmer that Max swears by, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, because, you know, if you're sitting there around heaters, you're going to get swampy in the front area. Good, some deodorant. Crop Reviver, the Performance Boxer Briefs, which are very comfy, by the way. Very, very comfy. And a travel bag to hold all your dick trimming goodies. Now, Max, I presume you didn't see my message on Facebook where you said you read the next 2 points?
No, I did not.
There you go.
But I can. Manscaped has also moved beyond your Down Under area by releasing their Ultra Premium Collection. This is their full-bodied collection, includes shampoo, body wash, moisturizer, deodorant that will have you smelling sweeter than the autumn air outside. I believe you use this stuff.
I do. I had a package arrive last week. I also picked up the... I bought this myself. Because I really like I bought the Ultra Premium as funsies, as I mentioned like about 2 months ago now. I've started to run low. I'm gonna put another order because I like it myself. Like, even though they sponsor the show, like, I use my own dollary dues to get it. And with that, I got the little manicure set as well to keep my nails all nice and trim.
And my blade refill should be arriving either this week or next week. I signed up for their bi-monthly top up, so I'm gonna get a new set of razor heads, a new head for my nose hair trimmer, and some more ball wipes.
Very nice. Excellent.
Some crop mops.
Yeah, well, the only thing, like, because so I did the whole thing. It came with the chapstick, which is good. Like, I've used it. It's very minty. Like, I thought it would smell and or taste like a ball sack, but it doesn't. It's mint. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I did put another order of that. That's come in, which has been awesome. And I also picked up the fragrance that came in, like a little Why not?
So not only will the Ultra Premium Collection have you smelling great, but you can feel good about it because all those products are cruelty-free, paraben-free, vegan-friendly, and dye-free. The best ingredients with zero compromise.
And you can get 20% off plus free worldwide shipping if you use the code FTP at au.manscaped.com. You heard it correctly. That's 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FTP at au.manscaped.com. You can use manscaped.com. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be from Australia, but if you are from Australia, that's probably the best one to use. So make sure you have the best package for your package and choose Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. I never get bored reading those ads, man.
They are good fun.
They are tons of
They
fun.
are good fun.
But yeah, let's get into the news, Max. It's the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
Let's talk about some shortages following what we just covered.
Talking about ball sacks. Let's go. It's been cold.
Okay, so Sony's PlayStation 5 production troubles look set to continue for quite some time. Based on what the Intel CEO, Pat Gelsinger, has said about the ongoing chip shortages, speaking to CNBC, Gelsinger warns that the aforementioned chip shortage could last into 2024. Quote, "We believe the overall semiconductor shortage will now drift into 2024 from our earlier estimates in 2023. Just because the shortages have now hit equipment and some of those factory ramps will be more challenged," says Gelsinger. Basically, the chip shortage has starting to have an impact on the production line itself.
Well, yeah, this is to be expected. So even just catching up from what was already short, and then now, as they've redistributed those necessities, because it's not like it is simply a manufacturer shortage, right? They just can't make them fast enough. They're able to make them because, you know, COVID's still a thing, but, like, you know, it's most people are vaccinated, practices are in place, etc. So if anything, it's just making up for the shortfall previously, and there is literally no way aside from just people abuse, which is very likely in a lot of these buildings anyway, just from making them work endlessly in order to meet the demand. And even then, it comes down to supplies. Like, it's just the whole supply chain has just been absolutely rooted by COVID. But what we're saying that, though, like, more and more have the local retailers like EB Games and JB Hi-Fi, they have been putting out notifications being like, hey, put in for a pre-order. Like, pre-orders are happening again. Like, things are moving.
They're sold out in like 20 minutes if you're not paying attention. Like, you've got to be on those. I know there's a few Twitter pages that will update people pretty early on, be like, hey, this is coming up, get ready. Oh, sold out.
Yeah. Yeah, because like even though there is like a lot of people have now got one, but there is still a need. Like almost everyone that I know that needed one or wanted one has pretty much got one. But I guess I'm living in a very privileged world in that space. Just because, do you know anyone that's still hunting one?
My sister's boyfriend's still hunting one. So every time I see the notifications pop up, I send him a message like, "Hey man, get ready." And then he's like, "No, I missed it." He's like, "No, I missed it. No, I missed it." He's either at work during the day and can't put it on, or
because it seems to be happening at really weird times. Just kind of like bang.
Yeah, they I swear they start at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and then by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they're all gone.
Which makes sense. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Speaking of crazy though, did you know that Sony's under investigation, Max?
I did.
Good, because you made the news, so it makes sense. As is typical the case for any billion-dollar acquisition, Sony's mammoth $3.6 billion buyout of Bungie, creators of Destiny, will be investigated by the Federal Trade Commission in the US. Still, the information reports that the investigation could set the acquisition back by at least 6 months, although a closing time frame has never been officially announced by Sony anyway. With Bungie set to operate independently once the deal closes, it's unlikely to change much, really. Apparently, the FTC is concerned that future Bungie games could become exclusive to Sony platforms, but both PlayStation and Bungie has already promised that there won't be the case. Quote, "We want the worlds we are creating to extend to anywhere people play games," said a spokesman at the time. "We will continue to be self-published, creatively independent, and will continue to drive one unified Bungie community." Now, I understand the FTC did look into the ZeniMax, purchase for Microsoft, but that is a much greater concern than Bungie making one game exclusive. Like, the stranglehold that the Microsoft could have over the purchase of ZeniMax, that's crazy. And also, additionally, why is there no concern for the likes of the Embracer Group, which this week picked up, who'd they pick up? Fucking Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal.
And
Eidos, yeah. Like, but with that came all the ownership of like Tomb Raider IP and a bunch of different things. Like, they essentially bought the entire North America department of Square Enix, which is crazy. It's crazy. But like, why is no one like? Granted, it just happened this week, but like, as
it was also only 300 million.
Yeah, but which is also insane, by the way.
The Embracer Group's also a third-party dealer, not a first-party dealer. So their stuff's still
they own so many. Like, they own a ridiculous amount of studios, right?
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
They are no longer a small player in this space.
I don't think they've ever really been a small player in this space. But the thing is, they are, for the most part, a third party. They're not. Like, obviously, the FTC is also investigating the acquisition of Microsoft with the acquisition of Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, not to Microsoft. So that, it's not like they're not. This is the first time they've come in. But there is a big difference between the 3.6 billion that Sony paid for Bungie, the $70 billion that Microsoft's paying for Blizzard, and the 300 million that Embracer Group is doing from the western parts of Square.
The disparity from 300 million to anything in the billions is absolutely ridiculous. So like, I understand there's but this is the thing. It's not like they are both still large acquisitions. Like, regardless of the dollar value, we need to look at the market effect here. And the Embracer Group already having such a massive amount of studios, then now buying the entire half of another previous company's development studio and publishers, this is remarkable. Like, I'm not saying that Sony shouldn't.
The thing is, they Embracer don't have their own walled garden to release all these products on. They have to play with someone in the space. They have to play with either Microsoft, Nintendo, or Sony.
Yeah, but
they don't.
Under that same argument, there's nothing for them saying that they'll just put it on PlayStation.
They're not bringing out the Embracer Brox 3000 and
yet.
You're just gonna yet.
But like the point, the point I'm making is like when you look over, like I know Microsoft are being looked at from terms of the FTC, but like we've not heard anything in a while. It's kind of gone quiet. Like we know very confidently that both of those groups are going to go through. And if the concern around the FTC is the potentially that Bungie creates Destiny exclusively, then why was that not the concern with Microsoft and Bethesda and ZeniMax, right? They have gone out of their way and have essentially said that, like, you know, Elder Scrolls will be one voice saying we'll keep some things but not in the other, like talking out both sides of their mouth. But we know pretty confidently from the press releases that I receive in my inbox from Bethesda Australia that says pretty clear cut. Not, you know, coming to PC and Xbox, coming to PC and Xbox. It is not going anywhere else. Why is that not a concern compared to PlayStation? Is it because it's PC and Xbox? But once again, that's still Microsoft shaking their own hand. Like that is the same company. Like if they have a problem with exclusivity, that needs to be dealt with. But I doubt it is.
Well, let's talk about some live service.
Am I wrong, Max?
I mean,
if I am, tell me I am.
I mean, in that sense, I see where you're coming from. But in the Embracer Group thing, I think I made my.
Oh no, Embracer! I'm more than willing to. I'm more than willing to take any on the Embracer, but the Microsoft stuff is my big.
Well, let's talk about live service splurging. So Sony has recently gotten into live service games, but we're yet to see the fruits of any of its labor. But apparently, it has 10 Fortnite-esque ongoing online multiplayer games in production, and it just spent billions buying Bungie and investing into Epic Games. Now they have put their hands in their pockets once again, investing in software company Axelbyte. Essentially, this startup is responsible for building back-end tools that can help power live service games, including the likes of Payday 2. It provides features like analytics, in-game monetization, and more. This is a big deal if you're making games, and it's probably safe to assume that Sony is using this technology for its upcoming titles. It's one of 3 companies, alongside Galaxy Interactive and NetEase, who have contributed to a $60 million investment into this organization.
What's your thoughts?
Makes sense. Sony don't really have anything to do with live service. It makes sense. That's why they bought Bungie. Bungie seemed to be, you know, in that live service space, doing really well. You know, some of their Destiny content has been hit and miss in the past, but generally they recover from expansion to expansion. By now, they're like 4 years in, 5 years in. They've got a pretty good handle on it. They seem to be a good choice. And putting extra, it's just we're seeing more and more of what Sony have been doing in the past, where they're investing their money instead of buying things outright. And I think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, so I imagine a lot of these deals when it comes to sort of investing either comes with, hey, you will provide us knowledge. You will pass us on this information, right? Like it's not as simple as we'll just give you money. And that's good. And like this is the thing. Now we're yet to see this truly come to fruition, so we're not entirely sure. But the idea of Sony having 10 games as a service set up, like that's concerning. Who's working on these? Now we know like a couple of the new acquisitions, the likes of Haven and Firesprite are working on these kind of long-term titles. But where's the other 7, right? Like maybe they're working.
We know Bungie's working on another IP.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly in the boat of Last of Us Part 2's online multiplayer as a live service.
Yeah,
game.
Factions will be a live service, but even then, that's like what 5. Where's the other 5? Like the other 5 might be in early pre-production, but like at the point I'm making at this moment in time, it looks as if that none of the current studios that are known for delivering exceptional single player narrative-driven stories aren't going to be hit by this change in focus, which is good, I see anyway. Like, do you see this being like a potential thing where they're like this hard focus on live services will impact? Because if we look over at the likes of Ubisoft as an example, or even Square Enix, right? Their focus Square Enix particularly, with their focus on wanting to deliver live service games like Babylon's Fall, Avengers, etc., actually came at the detriment of those games. But EA with BioWare as an example, you look over at Ubisoft from more of a once they grab onto something, they just run it in the ground, like microtransactions and then NFTs and all these things.
With Square, I don't know if it was them going, man, Final Fantasy XIV has made us a crap load of money. Maybe we should make more games like that. And then they just didn't work out because they don't have, like, obviously Babylon's 4 was a new IP. I saw somewhere this week where it had one concurrent player on Steam. Like the game, unfortunately, is dead.
Oh yeah,
like it's just is what it is. It's interesting to see if they had just this unrealistic expectations of what they were going to get out of their live service games on the back end of their success from Final Fantasy, because obviously over the course of the last year and a half, that game has been taken off shelves and digital storefronts because there was just too many people playing the game.
Yeah.
Like when you have to stop your game being sold because you've already got too many players that your system cannot handle it, that's got to be a good feeling. And that game to a degree is also riddled with microtransactions. If you want to do them, you can buy those premium items for real dollary dues, but
that's built into the design of the MMOs though, so it's not so bad. Yeah.
Plus it's a pay to play game. It has a paid subscription. You have to pay to play the game. Yeah, I don't think that Sony are going to pull their main party, like their main single player guys, off making single player games. Because they realistically, you would imagine that they don't know how to make a live service game, and if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. You let them stick to doing what they do best, and you use the teams that you've got that know what they're doing, and you make those live service games with them.
See, that's what
that doesn't mean you can't share those IPs and pull things from your stockpile and throw them in these stuff, but you don't use your
I would agree with you there. Like in terms of Sony, at no point have looked as if that they're going to want to broke what's not fix what's not broken sort of thing. But I think they're very aware that this is where the future is where the money is. Now it is because contrary to popular belief, all the fanboys and girls out there, or fan days, you cannot, they are a business, they are a corporation. It is about the dollar value. It's not about the artistic endeavor, and the artistic endeavor is so good. And Sony's very, very lucky that their single player artistic adventures are. We'll come back to that in just a second. Sorry, I got a notification in my ear hole. So right now they are still seeing a return on investment when it comes to supporting those single player games, right? So until that dissipates, until that lessens, I see them keeping with it. However, when we look over the likes of Jim Ryan as the head of PlayStation, and he himself, to no fault of his own, he's not a gamer. He's a businessman, as you should be. If you're the head of if you're CEO of PlayStation, you should be a businessman. Everyone's like, oh, he doesn't play games. Yeah, most gamers are shit. That's why you don't put them into business roles, right? It just doesn't happen. Especially that high, you have to have such a specific mindset. And yeah, he doesn't play games. That is a negative, but I see that as a negative, as in he may not fully understand in the same way, presumably, someone like Phil Spencer would consider choices. But I would also argue that Phil Spencer, as a gamer, quote unquote, I don't like some of their business choices. It's a weird balance. So the point I'm making is they will continue what they are doing right now until they decide that it's not fiscally viable. Yeah. And I think, so them wanting to focus on that long-term games as a service model is, as a business, completely understandable.
It'll also depend on how much money they're going to rake in on these new PlayStation Plus tiers.
Exactly.
Because, going from essential to premium is literally double the cost.
It sure is.
So, it'll be interesting to see how many people upgrade, what their new numbers are for that, how much extra dollary dues they're pulling in just from their subscription services alone.
Yeah.
We'll all take into account what happens in the future. So
yeah, speaking of the future though, Max, I know there is one thing that has you all kinds of excited Final Fantasy 16. So it appears that it won't be long until you, Max, not me, you put we are, not me, finally reunited with Final Fantasy.
Oh, I'm so keen.
In the space of Final Fantasy 16. During a recent Square Enix live stream for mobile title Nier Reincarnation, Final Fantasy 16 producer Naoki Yoshida gave an update on the anticipated PS5 RPG. Yoshida says that a new trailer for the game is ready to go, but its release was delayed for reasons. But it should be made public, quote, soon, end quote. Yoshida also reiterates what we heard just last week. The Final Fantasy XVI is basically finished. Apparently, the development team is now working on polishing and optimizing the game.
That's good.
I ain't gonna say a fucking goddamn thing. This is all you.
It's awesome. On the back end of how long it took Final Fantasy 15 to come out, to know that it's so far along in its development, seeing as we first saw it for the first time the back end of not last year but the year before. I think it was at one of the PlayStation 5 showcases.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they said that real quite medieval sort of look to it.
And then it went mad quiet for ages. Now Yoshida is the guy behind basically Final Fantasy Online.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that revived it. So it's in very, very good hands, in my opinion. The stories that they've pulled, that they've done in Final Fantasy Online is fantastic, and I have complete faith that this is also going to be a banger. I don't think it's coming this year.
No.
We have a group chat with a couple of friends. One of our friends, Joel from Anygamer, made the good point of Forspoken, the other Square Enix title, got pushed back to October.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them releasing a Final Fantasy game on top of this so close in the end of the year.
No.
My guess is like first quarter next year, if we're lucky. From what I've seen online, this trailer should drop by the end of June. What instantly went on in my mind is this is a PlayStation exclusive. Maybe Sony's got an event coming up around June-ish when all the other events are happening and they want it shown there as opposed to just a random Monday morning YouTube drop.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, I do agree with you. A showcase, like being able to pop this at the end of a showcase would make people like yourself like straight up cry. So I do understand why they're holding off, especially because Sony are pretty quiet right now. Like aside from now that like essentially from Ragnarok, which we still aren't even sure whether it's going to come out this year. Everything's pretty quiet. There's not a lot of known for the rest of the year. So as much as it would be awesome for Sony to back end the year, with, hey, we have a second party exclusive with, fucking Final Fantasy in the same way that they back end last year with Deathloop as their second party sort of release to sort of fill up that void. The back of this year is going to be Ragnarok until we hear otherwise. So I see this being late Q1, early Q2. I'm thinking sort of April next year, mostly because the front of the year, like if it would be a dope February release, I think would be amazing if they just drop Final Fantasy in February. But I see it a little bit later. Maybe they'll aim for February, and I kind of see it going back a little bit. That's where I stand anyway. But I don't want to take, Final Fantasy away from you any longer than you need, in the same way that I cannot live much longer without a date for Ragnarok. I need it. I want it.
Speaking of events coming up, Jeff Keighley has confirmed that his Summer Game Fest showcase will return on the 9th of June 2022, featuring a, quote, cross-industry showcase containing multiple game announcements as well as indie-focused Day of the Devs. In addition, Keighley also revealed that there will be, quote, lots of events coming in June. Because obviously E3 is dead.
Yeah, E3 is dead. Hard dead.
Is this where we see dates for God of War Ragnarok? Is this where we see the likes of Final Fantasy 16?
Yes.
Do we see all those games at Summer Games Fest? Because obviously Summer Games Fest does have a lot of pull. It was the first place to show off Game of the Year Elden Ring last year. It's just, Really has a lot of sway in the industry to a degree,
So-
and
You are correct.
I'm not wrong. He does have a lot of pull
Yeah.
in that space.
So what I
say what you want about the showmanship of his shows and the production values and all that fun stuff, he does have. He's shaken a lot of hands.
He does. He's shaken a lot of hands, kissed a lot of babies. He's done it. But like, for me, if there is a Sony related showcase, then yes, that's where we're going to see all those big things. If there isn't, I don't see Ragnarok coming out at Games Fest because I think Sony want to own that. And they want to own that narrative, right? In the same way that every other big announcement they've done through one of their channels. But something like Final Fantasy, I think, would benefit from being something like Games Fest because they would also be able to get to cast the widest net to get everyone excited while also going, hey, it's on PlayStation, nowhere else. Thumbs up for us.
Okay, my second question is, if there is no Sony event around Summer's Game Fest, do you still think Ragnarok is coming this year?
It'll be very scary. It'll be a very uncomfortable, probably not.
There's no announcement in June, the 6th month of the year. Is it going to come this year?
Like, don't get me wrong. The turnaround from like a date to announcement to release for God of War, like the 2018, was about 4 months from memory. So it's been done. And like maybe they could do June, July and still get it within the end of the year. But like I don't see them releasing something in like late November or early December. Like, you know, the only exception to the rule back in the day was The Last Guardian. Other than that, everything is sort of out before November. So like at latest, I see this dropping in October, maybe early November, but we would need to know about it come June. And I think it would be dumb if so, that's still the plan. Sony would need to drop something around this window. And if they don't, and then essentially what will happen, either we get it in June, either we get it or we don't.
They are the two options.
I mean, as in, like, there's a showcase in June. If God of War's not in it, when they do their October year, our next year ahead of us, which they've done the last couple of years, then they'll go, hey, it's Q1. Which will fuck me in my draft for the second year in a row.
What if they do here's a year ahead and they bookmark their show with God of War out now? And they just drop it.
There is no way they would shadow drop Ragnarok. No way.
No, of course not.
No way. Like, in terms of like, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well. Like, there's this, you know, the big narrative of like Fallout 4 dropping, releasing in 3 months. Mind you, that I constantly forget that every rumor about Fallout 4 before they announced that release date, totally real. Like, but even, you know, outside of like, there's no big rumor mills right now about Ragnarok. Really, you know, everyone's keeping. So it's like, it's kind of this weird balance where it's like,
I'm still standing by. You can't delay a game that doesn't have a release date.
And no, but that is the method. That is the plan, right? And like, we will see that continuously moving forward. Hence why the back end of this year looks so dead, because no one wants to commit because they can't. So the short answer is, will we see it at Summer Games Fest? Only if Sony do a dedicated thing, and they do it probably the week after Games Fest. Like, I think they did that last year. Maybe they had like, I don't think it was a full blown. I think it was more like a
30-ish minutes instead of
yeah, maybe potentially. Either way, quick biddies though, Max. Ubisoft Montreal has taken over development of the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. A game that no one really asked for. The game is very cool on PS2, however. And on PS3, there is a trilogy collection. But this game was delayed indefinitely. They then went, yeah, it might come back. We don't know when it's going to drop, but it's been brought in-house. Now,
these were the guys who originally did it.
Tick.
By the way.
Number 1. That's a good thing. 2. The idea of it coming in-house, everyone goes, oh, it must be in real bad shape. We all said the same thing about Final Fantasy VII Remake. And look how amazing that turned out.
The other thing is the two other Ubisoft teams that were working on it are still working on it. It's just they've brought in Montreal.
The Leeds is
like,
now
oversee-
the Leeds is now Montreal, which is good.
Yeah.
In-house Leeds probably an advantage. It's certainly a good thing. Just With still no release date or anything. Is it still bad news? Potentially, but once again, any hype for Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake gone. All Dying Light owners will now be upgraded to the Enhanced Edition for free, because the team over at Techland cannot stop supporting Dying Light 1 so much
it just got a PS5 patch a couple of weeks ago, so it now runs in like 4K, 4K 30 performance mode, 60 frames per second, in like
so you now get
sorry.
Yeah, you get the update to PS5 for free, and then they go, oh, the Enhanced Edition we had for Dying Light 1, it's yours now. All the DLC, yours, go.
Yeah, 5 DLC packs are all listed as free now.
Like, that's absolutely insane, including like
one of them is called The Following, and it's literally an entire another campaign.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's not this tiny little DLC. It's like a massive. It's really good,
man. And if this one of those things, if this inspires everyone to pick up Dying Light 2, like, that's a win all around. And finally, Sifu now has difficulty settings, which means I might be playing Sifu.
Friend of the show, Padge, I think, finished it now.
Oh, shit. All right, well, then if Padge can do it, I can certainly do it now. I'll go check it out.
Anything Padge can do, I can do better.
Nope, not at all. But if Padge can if Padge can do it, then I should be okay. Because, like, he and I only have so much time and skill, so it's comparable. It's apples to apples.
Hopefully he hears that.
Love you, Padge.
Upcoming releases. We have Udian Chronicle Rising, PS4, PS5, May 10th. Unpacking, PS4, PS5, May 10th.
Made by the local Australian team, Witchbeam. Very excited to play Unpacking.
Salt and Sacrifice, PS4, PS5, May 10th.
Isn't that already out?
That was Salt and
Sanctuary?
Salt and Sanctuary, yeah. Source of Madness, PS4, PS5, May 11th. Flippin' Cactus, PS4, PS5, May 12th. The Centennial Case, a Shijima story, PS4, PS5, May 12th. And Evil Dead, the game.
Oh,
PS4, PS5, May 13th.
I totally forgot about the Evil Dead game. Well, there you go. The answer is Unpacking. Like, I'll pick it up. It's Australian independent game, which is a big thumbs up for me already. The game looks really dope on like PC. I think it's on Switch as well, maybe just PC. But it looks mad, and I want to play it so bad. And if I can play it on PS5, 4 or 5, then I'm in. 5?
Coffee?
Yeah. Apparently I got real super bogue in there. I'm on PS5. I'm probably the one for me. What about you?
Salt and Sacrifice for me.
Hey, all right. Well, looks like neither of us will probably play it over the week. I'll have more to talk about Red Dead, I'm sure. Either way, thank you, everyone, for joining us once again. I say it each and every week. One of the greatest things you can do to someone is give them your time. Our time is precious, and thank you so much for choosing to spend some of that with us this week, or maybe every week. I really, really appreciate it. Max, we don't want to take up too much of these lovely people's time. Send us home.
Well, everyone, this PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join us as the conversation happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and you can become part of the show. Just the same way that the Mullet Show has, the notification came off before, he has resubscribed on Tier 1 for his 50th month in a row. What an absolute legend. But, if you are listening to the podcast service, if you're listening to the show on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopcultures, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. And of course, you can also help support the brands to help support us, just like Manscaped. If you head over to au.manscaped.com, manscaped.com. Use the promo code FTP. Get yourself 20% off and free worldwide shipping on products like that one, those ones right over my left shoulder. That is the performance package right there. Not performance package, the ultra premium things. There's you got all the things right there. Check it out, it's pretty cool. But either way, until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players. I'm going to build the rest of this Lego head right now.